Hey there guys, Noah here, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at Set 7 Artisaria. Now, I say Set 7 Artisaria, but actually it's going to be my budget build from going from Set 7 into Set 8. There's literally just one card that's going to be changing in this build going forward, but this is specifically designed to help players who want to play Artisaria, who have a good majority of the pieces but can't afford the very expensive staple cards such as the Yuikas or the other grade 2 for Chris Rain. This is specifically for y'all. So for those who are unfamiliar with how this deck works in Standard, essentially both your grade 1 and grade 2 searches for these order cards called Sound System Orders. They cannot be normally played. You have to play it off of Artisaria's effect, which Energy Blast 2 choose a sound system order from your drop or hand and put it into the order zone, and when it's put from your hand you draw a card, so that's actually very valuable. But then when she attacks, you can also counterblast 1 and call a Shadow Army token for each sound system order onto the rear guard, and then you get +5 if you got 2 or more for every 2 sound system orders. Your front row gets +5, and once you have 2 or more sound system orders, she gets an inherent crit. So overall, just very consistent pieces, very good like build up towards your main win con. And with that being said, obviously we do have to run the additional 3 copies of the Artisaria. This is kind of mandatory. You want to see your Persona rides, especially while going first. You kind of want to be able to pressure your opponent once they hit their grade 3. So that's definitely a must. And then for our sound system orders, we are running 4 copies of the Reveromania. Obviously, like I said, it has a continuous skill where it can't be normally played, but when it's put into the order zone, and once your opponent's on a grade 3 or greater Vanguard, you could target one of your opponent's rear guards and lock it, so that actually matters a lot. And then, of course, we are running 3 copies of the Shout and Shadow. So when it's put into the order zone, you call 1 Shadow Army token. So very fucking good. 15k beat stick for those of you who are unfamiliar. Now, you actually could technically run 2 different kinds of the Shadow Army tokens according to the official rulings, because they're literally the exact same card name. You can run the one that comes out of Set 7, which is like a butterfly and whatnot, or you could run this one from Orfist, so because it's literally the exact same thing. But double check with your local game store or whatever just to make sure that that's actually the official ruling for that, because I'm pretty sure they mentioned that right from the very start, and so that makes it a lot easier on me, because while I do like the butterfly, if I get to save a little money by not having to run it, perfect. And then for the rest of the grade 3s, we are running 4 copies of the Rachoa. So basically, when she's attacks, you get +5 for each sound system order, and then when she's either returned from hand or retired during your turn, if your Vanguard's Artisaria, you can Soul Blast 1 to target one of your units and it gets +5. So not only a very good generic beat stick, but it's also a very nice, additional, it helps you get more power gain, and that actually matters in this deck. So moving on to the grade 2s, we are of course running 4 copies of the Lufer. She has a skill where when she's placed on rare or put onto Guardian Circle, meaning you can't intercept with her and then get the power increase, she gets +5k power and shield, so very useful card overall. I really can't complain. And then also, when she has a similar effect to the grade 3, where when she's either returned to hand during your turn, or when she's retired from rear, as long as you got an Artisaria Vanguard, counterblast 1, draw 1. So not only a very consistent, piece of, it's a nice card to have, but she combos very well with a large majority of the deck and allows you to get a little bit of draw in case you need it. And then we come to the major point of contention with this build. Not necessarily point of contention, but more so, for the time being, for Set 7 wise, I'm running 4 copies of this. If your order has a sound system, she gets +5k power and shield, so 13k beater, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But when Set 8 drops, you're going to be replacing this for the grade 2 that allows you to, when placed on rare, Energy Blast 2, reveal Artisaria from your hand, or if your Vanguard's Artisaria, call Shadow Army token, and then when she's put onto Guardian, you can retire up to 2 Shadow Army tokens, and for each one retired, you get an additional +10k shield. So could go up to a 25k shield, assuming you retire 2. Just a nice way to get rid of your access Shadow Army tokens. Can't really complain. So then moving on to the grade 1s for real. Obviously, of course, you do have to run the Reverbera. So essentially, she gets +5 as long as you got a sound system order, which is very nice. But at the end of the battle sheet boost, if your order zone has a sound system order, move it to Soul, choose one of your rearguard to return to hand. This is very important because this combos insanely well with the Lufer. So essentially what ends up happening on turn 3 is you call both of these in the same column, and this becomes a 28k column on its own, as long as you got a sound system order. And that's really, really impactful considering just your numbers in the early game aren't going to really happen in all honesty, unless you see the other grade 2. But that kind of helps mitigate it. And then for my other grade 1 of tech choice, I'm actually decided to run 4 copies of the Marian, or I honestly don't know how to pronounce her name. But during your turn, if you have Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, choose one of your units in the same column, it gets +5. +5 is like all. So one thing that matters, right, is especially on your Persona right turn. Let's say you're going first, you go Shadow Army token. That Shadow Army token becomes 20k as long as it's in front of this. When you boost, it's 28k column, which hits magic numbers, which is very important. On a Persona right turn, this hits 30k. The Shadow Army token hits 30k, 38 when you boost with this, and then when you call another Shadow Army token, it will get potentially more power, not just from this, but potentially off of Artisaria's skill, so very useful card in its own right. And then, of course, obviously, Rio running our 4 PGs, which will be 3 of the regular one, and then 1 of the Elementaria Sanctitude. You can technically get away with not running the Elementaria and just run the 4 regulars, but sometimes it comes up depending on the matchup, so kind of need it. And then for our trigger lineup, I think it's very self-explanatory for the most part, but we are, of course, running 7 crit. You could run 8 crit if you wanted to take out one of the additional triggers that I'm going to mention in a moment. But this is just to have nice shield pressure and just overall consistency, because we are running 4 copies of the regular like shield fronts. This actually matters a lot because this deck naturally doesn't have a whole lot of hand. Usually you have to use it off a Lufer or potentially the Shadow when you use Artisaria's skill. So drawing into these aren't necessarily the worst thing in the world because they're 20k shield once your opponent's on grade 3. So very good overall. Of course, obviously, we are running our 4 heal triggers. There we are. And then our OT of choice is, of course, going to be the red OT. Red OT specifically because of its additional effect where you can target one of your standing rear guards and it gets a once per turn end of battle skill to restand itself. But if you don't choose a card, you draw one and call one from hand. And that's actually very important because what ends up allowing you to do is, regardless of how you play the deck, it allows you to get either it gets you an additional attack. So in a lot of cases with Artisaria, you'll go swing rear, swing van, activate effect to call, and then you check this on turn 3, you get 5 attacks guaranteed, with 2 of those attacks having 100 million, and that actually matters a lot. And this is even more lethal on your Persona Ride turn because you get 2 Shadow Army tokens because you have 2 sound system orders, and then you get, red OT, give it to the Shadow Army, and then you kind of like wombo combo from there. And so that's kind of the main reason for that. So now with that being said, now that I showed you the list, it's time to go on CFA to show you how this deck works in action against probably one of the better meta decks in the format. Alright, so hopefully this game goes a bit better than the last one. Alright, so he's going first. So in this situation, we can actually put back all of these. I'll keep 1 in hand, and I basically got a slightly worse hand. Lovely. Probably against Blankmeyer. This is going to be really bad. Alright. Discard for Bedrock. Goes into that. Gets the energy. Okay, so draw. We will choose to discard the sound system order to ride. Get my energy generator. Go to 3. Then effect, draw, effect, reveal Artisaria, search for a sound system order. We'll add Regromania because at this rate, locking down a column might be a bit better here. Swing 8. Check, nothing. Okay, great. Great start. And then he energy blasts the draw. That's gonna hurt a bit. Ooh. Wow, that's really bad. Okay. So now we know 2 of his heals are in bottom. That actually matters quite a bit. I'm just gonna be taking this. Hope I don't get punished. Ooh, it hits OT immediately. No. This is definitely a rub-raggy moment. Oh my god, I can't get a decent game to save my life. In fact, reveal. Search for sound system order. This way, we might as well search out the other one. And hand shuffle. Wow, this game is not going great. I'm just gonna swing 10. Hope I hit a heal. Maybe. Nope. Okay, wow. This is not a good showcase, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've had way better games with this before. Goes into Blackmire. Oh, man. I'm so screwed. The only, like, silver lining is that I don't have much of a field, and against this, I'm probably just gonna have to make mad tokens. Or just make it so that way he can't really do much. Yep, calls that down. Place, look at top 2. Ooh. Not the best situation to be in. I'll be completely honest here. Right. Yeah, he's not even gonna overcommit because he knows better. So he's gonna be using Blackmire's effect to buy 4. It swings with a crit already. Jesus Christ. PG that. Because we know that later on when he goes into his divine skill turn, I will not be able to activate anything any PGs at all. Wow, I can't get my words out. Alright, so in this situation, because he didn't leave us anything, we're gonna go ahead and Energy Blast 2, place the sound system order, draw, then effect, draw, get a Shadow Army token. Okay, not the worst situation to be in, honestly. Call this down, call this down. This gets, both of these get +5. I'm debating. You know what? Call this, because it will get +5 off its effect. Swing 28 to face. Oh my lord. Effect. Move this to soul, return this to hand. Effect, counterblast 1 to draw 1. And then we'll swing here, activate effect to give +5. So this is swinging for 18. Yep. Yep. That's even. Yep. Effect, counterblast 1, call a Shadow Army. And then effect, Soul Blast 1, +5 over here, so this is 28. Yep. First check, nothing. Second check, nothing. And then 20. I am actively trying to play around the Divine skill as much as I can, but so far we have a pretty decent hand size, combined with the fact that, I know Blackmire Nexus could come out at any moment and just ruin my whole day, but because what does he have in mind? He's got 4 cards in mind, no Persona, no Nexus at all. That's huge. So, yep, he's placing that down. I guess he's not as afraid of the lock anymore, because he's just gonna bind stuff anyway. Let's see. The moves effect, yep. This is so much fun. At the Shattering Colossus, maybe? I think? Oh no, wait. He wanted the soul draw. Okay, so yeah, he's going to soul. So he essentially got a +1 for basically decent cost, but oh boy, this is still scary because at any point he could activate the Divine Scouts because he's already at 5. So if you really wanted to push more damage, he could just use the Divine skill here. More importantly to that, he could damage choke me and just force me to hope and pray that... Because this would effectively be swinging for 3 damage at that point, which matters a lot because, oh boy. Oh yeah, he's committing hard. The opponent chooses 2 of theirs, so I have to get rid of this no matter what. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna drop the PG here. Because I just don't want to go... Ooh, Bedrock does a 40... Oh my god, and he hits a heal. Oh, this is so gross. And both of these are swinging for crits. I think I'm forced to, like... Because Philia will get +5. Yeah, I think I'm forced to take this here. Not the best situation to be in, because then this swings, and then effect, +5, and a crit. Oh. So yeah, I think we're going to just guard this for 43. But he did leave himself a little bit open toward the lock, which does matter a bit. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and Personalize Law. Go to the main phase. Activate effect. Energy Blast 2. Place the Regromania. Regromania's effect. We're going to go ahead and target this for the lock. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and call this down. Give it +5 off its effect. Call this down. Call this down. Call this down +5 from this, and then because of this, +5 to this. So this is effectively a 30k boost. This effect, give it +5. Artisaria's effect plus crit. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and enter battle. We'll go... I think in this situation we go 30k to face. Unboosted, because no matter what, this is still hard to guard. Now we'll swing with this next, 38. Activate effect, move this to soul, return this to hand, effect, Catalyst 1, draw 1. Now we'll swing with this, activate effect, Counterblast 1, call 2 Shadow Armies. Front row gets +5. This gets a +5 because of her effect. First check, nothing. Second check, front trigger, that's going to matter. 40k to face. Yeah, he had way too much gas. And then swing 53. Alright, and then I'm forced to pass there. Not the best scenario, because he's got Blegmire Nexus on standby. And I'm pretty dead here. Like, this is definitely... Without hitting a heal, like, I am pretty screwed. Heal or OT, which, given the fact that I've already burned through 2 of them, not the best scenario to be in. Essentially, I'm going to be forced to raw guard the Blegmire Nexus at this point. But, I think he only gets 3 attacks this turn, so... Presumably, like, we have the hand to block. Although, this effect... Let me double check it. Cannot place Sentinels. All your opponents and that unit's abilities are nullified. So that probably means the shield value is suddenly decreased by a fuck ton, but could be worse. Alright, that is very bad. So yeah, so now the Divine Skill is alive. Okay, so I might be able to guard this, provided he doesn't drive check any triggers at this rate. So, 73. So he essentially has to not hit a crit for me to actually do something. Hits a heal. Ooh, he's going hard. Ugh. Okay, I somehow raw guarded the Nexus. Oh my god, he's not smart. Oh my god, he's not smart at all. Oh god. Oh, that mattered so much. Okay. So now we could just go ahead and Persona Ride. We will now, because for his effect, it only shows the Vanguard that was already there. So now we'll go call this effect Energy Blast to get a token. So now we'll call this here. Oh no, this also, that doesn't matter. Choose all your opponents. Yeah. Alright, so gets +5. Pretty sure. Yeah. And then, alright, so we're gonna go ahead and use Artisaria's effect. Energy Blast. We'll set down the Regromania effect to lock the Zamoog. And then we'll place this down just for a boost because I am not living through this next turn. We will go 24. Okay, effect, move this to Soul. We'll give plus 2k, let me see, so this would be 30, this would hit, nah, it doesn't really matter where I get this power to. We'll go 30k to face. Yep, guards it anyway. Artisaria swings effect, counterblast 1, call 3. One, two, three. +5 to front row. Vanguard gets a crit. First check, nothing. Second check, heal trigger. That's going to matter a lot. Because now we are actually able to recover 1. And then we'll swing 45 to face. Fuck! Hits a heal! Are you kidding me? Oh no, it mattered! No! Oh, that heal so mattered. Oh, sad times. I'm so dead now. Oh, I just need him to not hit a heal. That's so sad. I'm so screwed. I don't have the ability to guard this anymore. It's so raggy. I'm forced to bind 2. I'm just no guarded. I don't have the ability to stop this now. This is game. Oh my god, hits another crit. No! Such garbage. But you see the whole line of play here, right? Like, honestly, without the heal, I would have won. So that honestly felt like a very solid game. Let me know what you guys think about this deck in the comment section. Any improvements you would possibly make with just no staples, honestly, because I'm trying to keep this budget. But until next time, this is Noah, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye, everyone.